Wednesday. How we feeling out here, ladies and gentlemen? You are locked and loaded right now on what is the hottest show in the streets, the best form of Alabama football news, notes, and information you will find anywhere. What is this called, you may ask? None other than In My Own Words, the podcast with yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, coming to you from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And we are streaming to you not just on YouTube, but also Facebook and Twitter. And we got a jam-packed slate of topics tonight. And before we get into those, as always, each and every time, we encourage you to drop a thumbs up, give a like on the show, and hit that subscribe button. What that does for us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine is it allows us to continue supplying you with the best news, notes, and coverage on your favorite football program, that being the Alabama Crimson Tide. It's because of you that we're over 8,000, that's right, over 8,000 subscribers strong on the YouTube channel. So definitely want to encourage you to continue growing the network, channel, and brand. We'll start the show off with a couple of updates, and then after that, we'll look into Aaron Feld, the head strength and conditioning coach for the Oregon Ducks. He visited the University of Alabama on Tuesday, meeting with Coach Saban. Does Coach Saban make the move of bringing him back to the University of Alabama program to replace the departed Scott Cochran? We'll touch on that. After that, we'll sit down with my man, Mac Herford, former Alabama wide receiver and graduate of the program. He's got some interesting perspectives he wants to dive into, so we'll sit down with him. And then last but not least, we'll look at the legacy that Scott Cochran leaves behind here at the University of Alabama and what he meant to the program. But starting off with these updates, despite the fact that the anniversary of this event was actually on January the 8th, if you look at what today is, February is the second month of the year. Today's date is the 26th. So 2nd and 26th here on a Wednesday, we pay homage to the greatest play in Alabama football history that involved two freshmen at that time, Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback and Devontae Smith at wide receiver in the 2018 College Football Playoff National Championship game off a 2017 season. Tua hooked up with Smitty for a 41-yard game-winning touchdown in overtime, helping the Tide secure that 26-23 win over the Bulldogs of Georgia at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. One of the best moments of Nick Saban's life as he threw his hands up there in jubilation. So that may not be the date of the actual anniversary, but it is the second month of the year, February. Today's date is the 26th, so definitely paying homage to that event. Also, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so, get your calendar set, get your time set, starting on Thursday, being tomorrow, throughout the remainder of the week. The NFL Network will be having the on-field workouts for the NFL Scouting Combine. A bunch of Crimson Tide players so far, 10 have been sent to the Combine, but a number of guys so far have put in strong measurements in terms of the weigh-in. But starting on tomorrow, Jerry Jeudy and Henry Ruggs will take part in the 40 and on-field drill. So from Thursday throughout the remainder of the week, get acquainted with NFL Network to watch your favorite Tide player or former Tide player do their thing in the Combine. Last but not least, in terms of updates, Tua Tagovailoa at quarterback. More good news regarding his hip. According to National NFL Insider Ian Rappaport, he was told from close sources that according to the teams that Tua met with, the hip is really well, progressing really well to where there's no loss of blood. All the MRIs came out clean. Everything came out great. One source in particular said the dude, Tua Tagovailoa, looks really good. So with that being said, Tua looks more than likely now like a top 5 pick here in the upcoming draft in April. So just some updates there for you. But we dive into the first topic of conversation, that being Aaron Feld. And I'm reminded of lyrics to a Drake song. Grammy Award-winning rapper, recording artist, Aubrey Drake Graham, or Aubrey Drake / Jimmy in the wheelchair from Degrassi Graham, whatever you want to refer to Drake as. But this lyric came from his song Too Much off the album Take Care, and it goes, the moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it. The moment I stop having fun with it, I'll be done with it. And that lyric to me perfectly fits where Nick Saban is in his career right now. Coach Saban not done with being competitive. Nick Saban not done with having fun in college football. Nick Saban not done with having his foot on the neck of the opposition. Nick Saban not done with the crown of being the king in college football. He knows Dabo Swinney's good. He knows Kirby Smart wants to take that shot at him. He knows there are other coaches in college football that are gunning for him. But Nick Saban's like, hold on, guys. I'm still king. I'm still the man. I'm still on top of the mountain. I'm still on top of the castle right now. And part of that mantra of Nick Saban is not being afraid to grow, not being afraid to change, not being afraid to evolve and develop, even to where if it comes to a situation that you have to part ways from somebody you know, you love, you care about, and had been a part of the family. And Scott Cochran, Nick Saban, part ways. Scott Cochran going to the University of Georgia as a special teams coach after spending 13 years as the head strength and conditioning coach, director of strength and conditioning for the Tide. But the main name that has risen in terms of fans talking about him on social media, media pundits talking about him, the name that has risen, Aaron Feld, the current head strength and conditioning coach at the University of Oregon. Now, there's a lot of names on the list besides him, but he is the name that's risen. He is the name that's gotten to the top of the food chain in terms of this is somebody of which the fans would love to see brought in to the program. Feld visited with the University of Alabama and head coach Nick Saban on Tuesday. This is an individual that is originally from Homewood, Alabama, a suburb of Birmingham. His family still is in Homewood, and a guy that was at the University of Alabama once before, from 2013 to 2014, as a volunteer strength coach under Scott Cochran. During those 2 years here, Feld helped coach Crimson Tide offensively, or helped condition the Crimson Tide offensively to an average of 37.5 points per game. Defensively, it gave up 16.2 points per game. We're looking at a guy in A.J. McCarron at quarterback, of which Feld helped him have a 3,000-yard passing season, 3,063 yards, 28 touchdowns, coming runner-up to Jameis Winston in the Heisman, being a guy that was a Maxwell Award winner. I believe he was also the winner of the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award. Also in that same season, Feld helped the likes of T.J. Yeldon have a 1,000-yard campaign, 1,235 yards and 14 touchdowns. In terms of 2014, check out the job he did with one Blake Sims, conditioning that young man to, at that point in time, be the single-season passing record holder for Alabama, 3,487 passing yards and 35 touchdowns. With Feld, the Crimson Tide got to the SEC title game in 2014, won the conference championship, and made its first ever appearance in the inaugural college football playoff. So he's been at Alabama. He's been at Alabama before, and has had great success. He has been all over the state in terms of not just Alabama, the University of Alabama, but also UAB in Birmingham, North Alabama, also in terms of strength and conditioning. He's well-versed in the Southeastern Conference. When you talk from 2015 to 2017, Feld went to Georgia as the assistant director of its strength and conditioning program, helping the Bulldogs get to the national title game in the 2017 season, despite falling to one Alabama. But the last 2 years, him at Oregon, this is why fans are very high on him, because when you talk Oregon football, you look at its Pac-12, they're not tough, they're not physical, they're all finesse, they don't play defense. It's the Pac-12. Nobody watches the Pac-12 for defense. But the one thing that Aaron Feld did in his 2 years at Oregon, he toughened that program up on the defensive side of the football. This past year, the Ducks gave up 16.5 points per game, one of the best in college football in terms of scoring defenses. And when you look at the guys that they had, Troy Dye at linebacker, Kayvon Thibodeau on the defensive line, Thomas Graham at defensive back, I mean, he conditioned all those guys to be impactful, to be special, to be marquee playmakers, especially Thibodeau, who had 14 tackles for loss, 9 sacks, and they had the team in both categories. The Ducks that season, 2019, got to the Pac-12 championship game and won, got to the Rose Bowl and won. And if not for a loss to the Auburn Tigers to start the regular season, Oregon with Feld would have got to the college football playoff. That's how special this young man is. When you look at just how his peers view him in college football, and where he stands among the top tier strength and conditioning coaches, Aaron Feld is right up there. I know Scott Cochran created a big impact, created a big atmosphere when you talk Alabama football, but if we're looking at strictly strength and conditioning, just going all in on strength and conditioning and where those metrics align, Aaron Feld, one of the best, one of the top-tier guys when you look at the people that study him, the guys that look at him, his peers, and just throughout college football. And the reason why I feel like if Alabama makes the move to get Feld, this would work, is number one, he is well in tune with the analytics. When I look at Scott Cochran, at times he was so push. We're going to lift weights till we puke. We're going to run till we puke. It's a mindset. He was doing the same things that he did when he was at LSU during the early 2000s. Not much changed at all from Scott Cochran's regiment from his time at LSU to his time at Alabama. And it was kind of the whole ordeal to where you get stuck in your own way, you get stuck in your own mindset of this has worked for so many years. My way has gotten Alabama 5 national championships. My way has gotten Alabama 6 Southeastern Conference titles. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. But when the game is transitioning away from you, when you see changes being done, when you see alterations being done, and if you want to continue to be at the top of the mountain, if you want to continue to be at the best or at the elite level, you got to be able to be open to altering things, changing some things, mixing some things up. Scott Cochran was not one to change and alter things. And when you have Nick Saban, who is the ultimate chameleon, he wants to prove he is not only versatile, but he's diverse in understanding the game is changing in this area. I want to stay on top. I want to go back. I want to go out as the greatest to ever do it. Let me make sure I stay abreast, I stay afloat, I stay on top of each and every situation. When you look at Aaron Feld, he's on top of the analytics. His whole thing is, or his philosophy is, he wants his players to max out in terms of reps and weightlifting, but don't max out to where it becomes strenuous on you. He doesn't like to put a lot of force, friction, weight, added pressure on the players. He wants to give those players a chance to have that cool down, that rest, that relaxation period. So it's all about doing your work, maxing out, hitting your reps, hitting your target goal, but not stressing your body out, not putting so much strain on those tendons, those ligaments, those bones, those, parts of the body to where if you push, and stuff expands, then what happens to a rubber band, folks, when you expand it too much? It pops, it breaks. And that's what, Feld's philosophy is making sure that you're hitting your weight goal, you're hitting your strength goal, you're hitting your cardio goals, you're hitting what you're supposed to do, but you're also giving your body that chance to recuperate, that chance to relax, that chance to kind of get back in line there. So he's huge in terms of the analytics. He is very flexible, with his plan, and with him being on the cutting edge of technology, and with your head athletic trainer in Jeff Allen in terms of Alabama being on the cutting edge of technology, you got two guys that have the necessary means. They have the resources, they know they have the resources, and they intend on using those resources. Then that can become a beautiful marriage for Alabama football. When you dissect into Jeff Allen's the head trainer, he's on the cutting edge of skill, of speed, of performance, of how can we get the top effort from these players. And then from the nutrition standpoint, you have Miss Amy Bragg, who is meal prepping. She's counting carbs, she's counting calories, she's making sure these young men are eating clean, eating lean, eating right. And when you add a guy like an Aaron Feld that has a plan, he is on that plan. He is developing that plan. He has faith in that plan, but he's not afraid to make changes, be flexible, and alter that plan in the betterment of the team. And he is also in tune with the analytics. You put a Jeff Allen, you put an Aaron Feld together with an Amy Bragg handling this food, Bama football, it would get back to being a lean, mean, strong, not bulky, not like the Terminator, but strong in a healthy way, killing feared machine. So Aaron Feld, a native of this state, he knows the Bama way. He knows the Bama program. He's been around it before, and he's not afraid to use the analytics and go with the means necessary. So if Alabama was to bring him in, it would be a cool fit there. But that's going to lead us here, folks, to our first break on In My Own Words, the podcast. Upon our return, we dive into your phone calls, thoughts, questions, and concerns. Don't touch that dial, folks. We're coming back.
Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care. In support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $5.95 per month or pay $49.95 for a full year subscription. That's a saving of almost $22. Make sure to subscribe before it's too late and get our new freshly printed end of the year magazine issue. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
Thank you for watching Touchdown Alabama Magazine's YouTube channel. To continue to get the best in Alabama football content, subscribe here and turn on your notifications to stay connected with the hottest shows covering your Crimson Tide.